This podcast is brought to you in part by PNP Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or at one of their 3 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba. On this episode of the DeREZD podcast, we're going to be talking SharePlay because I have some things to say from last week's show, EA Access, and John Madden. Well, actually not John Madden, just Madden. But we'll talk about that on this episode of the DeREZD podcast. Alrighty, everybody, and welcome to the DeREZD podcast. That's awesome. We just had Lem, one of the members of VG Podcasts that does the awesome Geek Control podcast. He's in the middle of the wilderness, and he's streaming us live over 3G. That is awesome. Lem, you are the man, Lem. Thanks for doing that. But yeah, this is the DeREZD podcast, episode number 22. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison. And joining me, as always, back in his rightful place, Will Kelly. Will, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic.
That's great,
Lloyd.
I gotta say, I'm doing really good actually. I'm back from my vacation. I've put in a whole week of work. I haven't beaten anybody up, so the stress hasn't come back in fully. It hasn't sank its claws into my neck, which is good. But no, I'm doing really good. I'll be doing even better early next week because I have a Retron 5 on the way. Yes, I'm so excited.
Lucky dog.
I'm so excited.
Is that why you made this new fancy podcasting backdrop so you can show everyone what games you'll be playing next week?
No, but it's really good timing. I have a new podcast backdrop. If you guys are watching the DeREZD video and you haven't seen it before on any of the other shows, I have a new shelving unit behind me with all sorts of geekery on it. I have some some complete in-box NES, Super Nintendo, and N64 games. I have my loot crate that we're going to be opening soon. Got a bunch of figures, like right here, Homestar Runner figures and Mario figures. I got my collector's edition of Diablo. I got I got the dragon lady over here, the
Daenerys,
the queen of the dragons, the mother of all dragons. I got her there. I got an Emmet right there, and I got my Darth Vader PSP. I got all my favorite geekdom here. I got my iCade, the nice one, the Woody iCade, the one that looks like an old Atari 2600. So I got all my favorite stuff. I got stuff representing every single show that I do here on the VG Podcast Network. So I like it. It's really good.
It looks fancy. Nice. I'm jealous. I wish I could do that.
It's a 4x4 box shelf from IKEA, and you can't see the bottom 2 rows of 4. So I didn't think this out properly. I should have just gotten a 2x4 and then just put it up on something else because shelf. So I'm going to be putting stuff in the shelves that isn't going to do much more than just be used as storage. And why would I want to use this thing as storage? It's a conversation piece.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we have a very short show for you guys this week, so excuse us for stalling for time a little bit here.
No one would have known our secret if you didn't. I could start telling you about all my cool stuff in my background, but then you would never see it. So
you just hold your water bottle over it or something.
That's right.
And that makes things magically appear. Oh, your face disappeared. Stop it. Oh, it's freaky. Freaky.
Yeah. That's magic. That's podcasting magic right there.
That is. All right, well, let's get right into this. This is the DeREZD podcast. I wanted to talk about the show you guys did last week. I was away on vacation, and Will, you took over the hosting duties, and you had Logan Lanu on the show, and you guys did a really awesome show. I listened to it, and I fully enjoyed it. So thanks again for putting that up, and it turned out really well.
Glad to do it. Although I'm definitely glad to have someone that is more in the PlayStation camp, because we were trying to watch ourselves, but I think we creeped into a little bit too much fanboyism in parts of the show. Yeah. So
Sony could do no right last week. So
what's that?
Sony could do no right last week, basically.
It's true.
But yeah. I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We normally bash the Xbox, so you were gone, and I was like, "Ha, this is my opportunity."
See, that's the thing is, I try not to bash the Xbox because
sometimes they just make it too easy. So
I guess that's part of it because I'm an equal opportunity gamer. I play everything and anything, as you could tell by all my games that I talk about and all the paraphernalia that I have littered around my podcast area. But yeah, I don't have an Xbox One yet, so I guess I'm not as excited about some of the announcements as some of the other people.
Well, can I burn some more time and tell you something else I'm excited about? You just talked about your Ratchet 5.
Yeah.
So it should be here, and I hope it's not on my front porch getting rained on right now. But my PlayStation camera was shipped and should be here today. Give me some pointers. So I actually purchased it so I can do some live streaming come next month with all the awesome games coming out. So when I pull this thing out of the box, what's like the coolest things I can do with it?
You can use it to keep doors open. It works really well for that. If you have problems with like open windows blowing paper around your house, you can put it on top of the stacks of paper.
Okay.
It's good. I have it. I've used it for Twitch a few times, and yeah, it's just like the Kinect. You can use it for voice commands. You can't use it to turn on the PlayStation, but when it's running and you don't have the microphone muted, you can say PlayStation Home and it'll go to the home screen, PlayStation Netflix and it'll launch Netflix. So you can do all that type of stuff. But yeah, there's like there's a couple of the games. There's a game room where you can kind of just kick little robots around and smack them through the air. So there's some fun things, but essentially the only thing I use mine for is Twitch.
And that's why I bought it. So if that's that, did you see that new Playroom app that they kind of came out with that allows you to kind of like make your own?
Yeah, make your own 3D studio backgrounds or whatever. I haven't checked out the update. I should do that.
I'll have to play around with that. Maybe a future DeREZD will be streamed from our two PlayStations.
I could sell all of my stuff, all my gear, and get rid of it all, and just do it right on the couch in front of my PS4.
Oh, you should do that. Why not?
Okay, doing it. I'm gonna start a Kijiji ad right now, or because we don't really have Craigslist up here. We use Kijiji, which is
you could just send it my way.
Okay,
I'll take it off your hands.
Okay, you'll put it up for sale and pass the money back my way.
Sure, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
I trust you fully. Will. Awesome. Well, let's jump right into this. This is the DeREZD podcast again. We want to know what you think of the show, and we have many ways for you to do that. You can head on over to vgpodcast.com and click Leave Us a Voicemail on the side. Corbin left us another voicemail. Unfortunately, SpeakPipe, the service that we used to do that, had an outage, and that voicemail got deleted. I listened to it once just after it was sent our way, but it was unfortunately deleted. So Corbin, please go ahead and leave that voicemail again if you want us to answer that question. My apologies for that. You can email us, vgpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG-Podcasts. All right, Will, do you want to do it? You did such a good vocal impression of it. Why don't you do it again this week?
Do you want me to do it again?
Yeah, this is our first our first segment of the show. It is
End of Line.
There you go. That's perfect. It's like I pushed a button. Did you see my arm go down?
Let's try it again.
Okay.
End of Line.
Perfect. That worked 100%.
With the little that was the remix with the laughter after.
Nice.
You didn't have a cue, did you? And you just like, I'm gonna make this. Oh,
I always have a cue. I have a cue. I also have this.
Did I just get that?
Yeah, you got that for Sweet. End of lining. You can have one of those too, because we're equal opportunity here on the podcast.
This is one of those shows, and I'm loving it.
This is like we're the morning zoo. I got to get auga, wah, wah, and ducks and horses. I do have horses, just not on this board. I have right here. So we could do that too. We could add a little bit of that stuff in as well.
You can never have too much horse
You can never have too much horse action, yes. All right. Before we get in trouble, let's get into the end of line. You guys touched on it a little bit last week, and I wanted to bring it up again. And that is PlayStation's huge announcement. The 10 million sales is a big announcement. We were trying to find some articles that corroborated I can't talk, our thought that Sony announcing 10 million PS4 is being sold to consumers in 9 months makes it the fastest selling console of all times, because the Wii was the next one there, and it sold 9 million in 10 months. So, but I couldn't find any articles and dates and stuff in our prep time. So we'll just say unofficially a big asterisk that the PS4 is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, selling consoles of all time. So that's pretty amazing. Even more amazing than that is what Sony announced last week at Gamescom, and that is the service called SharePlay, which will be a free service to all PlayStation Plus members. And essentially, it is making a virtual couch for people. So I could be playing a game. I could be playing Metro Light Remix. I'm trying to think.
Metro Last Light.
Metro Last Light, no, not Metro Light Remix. What am I thinking?
This is a Nintendo show.
No,
Super Metro.
Yeah, Super Metroid. Remix. I could be playing Super Metroid on my PlayStation 4 with this controller right here, my NES controller, and no, Metro Last Light, the remix or the HD remaster, whatever they're going to be calling it, when that comes out, I could say, I want to play a little co-op. I don't think this game actually has co-op, so it was a very poor game to choose. But let's just pretend.
But you can still hand off. Say you're having trouble beating a level.
Sure. We could do that. And I could just say, hey, Will, have you played Metro Last Light before, Will?
Yes, I'm an expert. In fact, I used to do like the game testing for it. Oh
my goodness! You know what? I'm having this really hard part getting through the brothel, and because I keep getting distracted. Will, can you help me through this game? If I invite you to my game, could you get me to the next level, Will?
You know, with the new feature that PS4 released in fall, you sure can. All you gotta do is just click on the SharePlay button.
Okay.
And it gives me controls.
I don't have a mouse, Will. How do I click on the SharePlay button? I'm confused already. This is a terrible service.
You take half of the word, share.
Oh.
Actually, I have no idea how it's going to work.
I don't know.
That would make sense.
But yeah, essentially, that is going to be one of the features. So I could be having problems with the game, and I could say, hey, Will, you want to beat this for me? And you go say yes, and I invite you to my game. And boom, you are controlling my game over the series of tubes that is our internet. And that is awesome. I mean, there's nothing else to say besides that is awesome. The other great things about SharePlay is the ability to jump in and play co-op. So we could be playing, say we're playing, I know a co-op game, Disney Infinity, will say, or no, Lego Marvel. Because that is a really good co-op game. My kids go to bed, so I'm playing by myself, and I'm bored because I want a buddy to play with. I could just send Will an invite, and you don't have to own the game, and you can come right into my house, sit on my virtual couch, not the games room couch that I've made look like a DJ studio, but my virtual couch that doesn't really exist. And you can pick up the Player 2 controls, and you can be playing the game with me over the internet. So, one thing that this generation and last generation even has changed is couch co-op. Like buddies, I don't want to say that no one does this, but it's far fewer times does it happen where buddies come over and game together. Mainly they meet up on Xbox Live or they meet up on PlayStation Network, and they get in some Halo, they get in some Call of Duty, they get in whatever Titanfall, whatever cooperative or multiplayer game they want to play. They do it that way. SharePlay is going to allow you to basically do it from the same console. So it's just like they're sitting there in your house. That is huge to me, and it's going to work with every single game. Like this is a huge game changer to the console. My one question to you, Will, how are developers allowing this to happen? This is the one thing I don't understand.
Are they, or is it just a mandate by Sony?
I guess so.
Play in our house, play by our rules, sort of thing.
Yeah, if you make a game that has co-op, well, they can co-op either in your house or they can co-op somewhere else.
Or I mean, it's not only that, though. Like you said, every single game is every game, right? So that could be a single player game where you're handing off the controls to me.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So one of the limitations that I wanted to ask you if you knew, you can only play an hour at a time, right?
Correct. So we could be playing the next Fallout that comes out, and we get an hour in. It's going to say your SharePlay time has expired or whatever the message is, and your connection will drop. And then I have to go to the menu, re-invite you, and then it would reestablish the connection. Then you can come back and play again.
So
from what I
yeah, that
understand.
was my question. I didn't know if like there was some sort of timeout that you had to take, and
Yeah.
you get an hour per game per day or something like that.
And it's quite possible that there's something like that. They haven't been any more forthcoming with any more details on that. I find that unlikely, but you never know. You definitely never know.
Yeah, you don't, and who knows? I mean, the way the service launched, it may not be the way the service like eventually evolves into.
Exactly. Trey Too Fast in the chat room asks a perfectly awesome question. He can play Towerfall online now. Essentially, yes. If I want to play Will in Towerfall, so I will always win because there's going to be a little bit of input lag, right? But you could definitely do that. I can invite you to play my game, or you can invite me to play your game, and we could play a game that doesn't have online multiplayer, because it is just it's emulating the fact that we're sitting on the same couch. Pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of this. I think I'm going to get a lot of usage out of this.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts on this. One, though, is just kind of like an idea. So the couch co-op idea, it's obvious in a situation like Towerfall, right, where it's like, okay, we're playing both at the same time. But one thing that Twitch has kind of allowed us to do is kind of have that observing couch co-op experience.
Yep.
And this is kind of like that, but you're not disconnected. You're not talking to a chat room or talking to me in your headset. It's like we're essentially sitting at the same console, and I'm watching you play, and I'm like, oh, dude, let me play this part. This part's really cool. And then you like pass the controls to me, and that's like, I mean, that was my childhood, right? Wasn't that a lot of our childhoods? Yeah.
You'd be playing Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and you'd get hit in the head with an apple once too many times. Your buddy would take over and get you past that level, and then you jump back in, go back and forth. Another place where I can see this used is training for first-person shooters. So you might be playing Destiny, and you might be in a clan. Is that what they're called in Destiny? I think they're called clans in Destiny.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I think that's what they're called. So you could be in a clan, and you want to do some training with your other people in your group. So instead of having to join a multiplayer match and kind of follow them and watch them, you could actually go right on their console and see what they're doing in a live match. You could see their sniping perches, how they're jumping through the environment, how they're finding little hidden nooks and crannies. If nothing else, that would be a really great way to basically show off your skills to close friends that you maybe don't want to drop on Twitch and give everybody access to the same stuff that you found.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else we can say about SharePlay because it hasn't been released yet. There's been no more details coming out. I do know that there's a huge PlayStation Network outage on Monday. So this coming Monday, the 25th, I want to say, or 24th. No, 25th. So on the 25th, it's pretty much going to be down all day. Like from, I think it's like 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. or something.
Wow.
So that's some major outage. Makes me wonder if that is some infrastructure changes they have to do to enable stuff in the new PlayStation 4 patch, which will enable SharePlay and YouTube and all that other stuff. So it's possible that we might have SharePlay in the next couple weeks, which would be amazing. I'm thinking it's going to be more in October, but if it came sooner, I mean, that is some really great news.
Well, coming out before holiday, I mean, I guess that kind of is holiday, but coming out the sooner the better in fall is going to be huge because that is a system seller feature right there, especially for maybe like younger gamers that don't have the means to buy all the games,
Yeah, like you could do game sharing essentially with your friends. You could say, I'll buy this game and you can come play with me. You buy that game and I'll come play with you. And we don't have to trade games anymore. You can do it digitally. So I could buy Destiny digitally and then you could still play it because you're playing it on my console. I'm skeptical that it's going to work 100% and be flawless. I think there's still going to be a little bit of like PlayStation Now kind of lag, but even PlayStation Now, the lag on it, not too bad. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what this starts as, what it evolves into. But this is by far one of the biggest game changers that has happened in the console industry for a long time. In my opinion, the ability for you to share your games online with your friends at the same time while you're playing it. I know Xbox, you guys mentioned it last week, that was one of the main promises of the original the original take of the Xbox One before it 180'd a couple times and changed 100%. But that was you'd be able to borrow or lend out stuff or borrow from your friends games. They didn't say what the limitations were. From what I saw in some leaked stuff that happened around then, it was only going to be like 1 hour per game, so you could play a game for an hour from your friend, and after that you wouldn't be able to play it again for a period of time, whatever that service was going to be. This is kind of similar to that, except it's social,
right?
Which is if Twitch has done nothing else, it's basically told people that social is what people want. They want to share their gaming experiences with other people, and this is more of a one-to-one thing instead of a one-to-many of a Twitch. Yeah. Pretty damn exciting.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, one kind of comment, and I think I mentioned it briefly last week, and if I did, I kind of want your thoughts on it. But you know, I've been a part of each of the console generations, and I've seen all the smoke and mirrors, and then eventually, you know, a lot of times these things, really cool, awesome new features that are promised never come to fruition. And the announcements for both the PS4 and the Xbox One, they had some really unique, interesting new ideas, and that got me really excited. And I kind of had to like, okay, keep my hope in check because I've been burned too many times by this. Right. But this was one of those features. I mean, the whole Gaikai streaming thing, this is absolutely part of that whole big picture, you know, along with PS Now. But this is one of those times where it's like, okay, I wasn't really expecting it to happen. I was going to be happy if it did, and then it did, and it's coming out so soon. I mean, fall is right here. Yeah. This is just, it's just so cool. And it, like you said, it is a game changer, and it is going to kind of change. It's going to change the environment for the consoles, I think. And I think Microsoft is going to have to respond in some way. I mean, now there's kind of two game streaming leg ups that Sony has. And then if you throw on top of that Morpheus, then there's some specific gaming elements that the PS4 has over the Xbox One that they need to respond to, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic because the Xbox started out this console generation totally different. It's like watch your TV on it, snap your TV while playing a game, snap your game while watching TV, share stuff, do this, connect, control everything. And they basically turned into kind of the boring console now, where it's essentially just a game console that can have TV stream through it, where PlayStation Now and SharePlay and some of the other features of Sony seem more revolutionary, where everybody assumed right at the start that the PlayStation 4 would be the boring console, that it would be kind of like the safe thing. So it's been really interesting to see how this console generation has kind of played out, where Sony's done some really weird things. If you look at history, right, it's like, no, why would they do that? That doesn't make sense. But you think about it, you play it a bit, and it's like, oh yeah, this is pretty damn awesome. Yeah, I'm super stoked for it.
Yeah, I can't wait. And again, even if you are an Xbox One owner, this is a good thing because it's going to push Microsoft to respond. And I mean, that's what these types of innovations are good for. They're not just for the consumer that owns that system. It's good for everyone.
Exactly. Well, let's get into our first story because it's the kind of the next thing I wanted to talk about. You guys mentioned preloading as well last week, and there's a story coming out that Madden will be the first game that is preloaded capable on the Xbox One. So that is something that Sony has been doing for a while now, for about a month now. Any game that you pre-ordered from when was it, Rogue Legacy, basically right around that time, so about 3-4 weeks ago, if you pre-ordered it, it would start downloading a few days before, and it would have a timer on it. So preloading has been live for every single game on the PlayStation Network for about a month now, which is pretty awesome. It looks like Xbox One is going to be doing that, and it is going to be starting with a few games, some Microsoft games, but the first big one is Madden 15. So you can download it What is it? Do they say 48 hours before? I'm looking through it. It doesn't say.
I don't know. I mean, you can set it up to download now. So, and in fact, if you have, that's our next story, but if you have EA Access, you actually download the full game prior. But that's different than that. That's a different, feature than preloading.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys don't understand what preloading is, basically what it is you pre-order a game and the game downloads to your console a few days before it gets unlocked, so that when was it? Last of Us. When Last of Us was released online, I started my download like the second I was hitting the download page. Finally got to it, hit download to my PS3, started the download, refreshed the downloads page a couple times. It was done. So there was no other way to get it on your console. Since I did it early, it came down in like 2 hours. I know some people that it took 14 hours to come down, just because every single person was hammering to download The Last of Us on the PlayStation 3. Preload gets rid of that, because randomly your console will just look for stuff to do. It's like, hey, do I have any games waiting for me? No. Do I have to upload saves? No. Do I have to update my trophies? No. And one more check that it will do is, do I have anything to preload? And if there's a game available, it'll just start that down randomly. So Sony or Microsoft servers won't melt over the sheer amount of bits that are being pulled from their pockets, right? Really good thing. Then as soon as it's the stroke of midnight in, I think it's Pacific. I think that's both of them are
traditionally
in Pacific.
Not always, but generally Pacific.
Generally. So yeah, when it strikes midnight, the next thing you know, your game is available to play, and you just hit start. Boom, you're playing your game seconds after the game launched in just like a midnight release or whatever. So that's huge. Madden is doing it. But leading into our next story, as you alluded to, Will, EA Access had, during its announcement, EA has said that most of their games will be getting demos, and they'll be playable first by people that are members of EA Access. So there was some clarification that was made this week surrounding Madden. And basically this demo, it's not just a demo version of the game. It's the full game will download, but you'll get a time frame where you can actually get in and play it. They said that the gameplay hours for this game will be 6 gameplay hours. And they weren't any more clear about it. So is gameplay hours, you start the menu, decide, oh yeah, I have to go and pick up pizza. You leave the house, you go get the pizza, you come back, and that burned off 42 minutes of your 6 hours of gameplay. Or is it, I'm actually on the gridiron throwing the football around? Is that considered gameplay? Yeah. So they haven't been any more clear about that. But still, that's pretty cool. You pay your $5 a month or $30 a year, and you get to play 6 hours of Madden before anybody else can.
Yeah. I'm testing this now, so I'll let you know. And it's really stressing me out, because I'm like, both consoles have this resume feature. Yeah. And so I paused the game, went over and watched TV, and I'm just in the back of my mind is like, is this counting down my hours? I'm like, the game's kind of running. I'm not playing it, but yeah. So, yeah, it's cool. This is a really neat feature, and kind of talking about the value of EA Access. If I were buying Madden this month, I'm not going to, but if I was buying Madden, you get 10% off of each EA purchase, and so that's makes the game here in the States. It makes it $54. So if you are planning to buy Madden, you actually come out $1 ahead.
Exactly,
and you get to play 6 hours. 5 days before the game is released.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And then if you are also an NHL fan, I mean, you're saved 10% on that as well. So you're making money back from the service. Just the 10% off is a good deal for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it'd be even more better deal if half their games weren't delayed until February.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, isn't it?
It is.
It's good though.
Hey, maybe there'll be more features with this service by then.
Maybe. Yeah, because there's so many games that are going to have to be bought in September and October. I'm scared for what is going to happen to my wallet, and thus my face from getting smacked for spending all of our money.
Yep. Hey, it was a welcome change.
Yeah,
for me.
It was. It's nice. Now you have a wife that you have to make happy.
Yep. It's true.
Awesome.
It's true.
Okay, well let's move on. Let's get to our next one, and that is the Xbox One has something on it that I wish the PlayStation 4 does. Well, actually, I guess the PS4 does because it has a web browser, which the Xbox One had before anyway. So I don't know why this is such a big news item, but there was news from Major Nelson that a Reddit app has been submitted and will be coming up this week to the Xbox One. It's called RedX, and it is a app that is going to be downloadable, and it'll give you the ability to surf through all your Reddit subscriptions.
It's actually available now.
Okay.
I'll be honest, it's cool. I never thought in a million years I would care about surfing Reddit on my Xbox, and I would say probably 98% of the time I never would. But an example, I was on the phone with someone that likes to talk a whole lot last week, and I do a whole lot of not talking, and so I'm like, I'm gonna check out this Reddit app, and I got through all my subreddits that I normally check before I go to bed, and so it was great in that respect.
Oh yes, I'm still listening to you, Mom. Don't worry. No, I'm fully listening to you, Mom. Don't worry.
It was
about
my dad.
That. Oh, it was your dad. Okay. Yeah, I know that. I know that as well. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I've seen some of the screenshots. It looks pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
It's functional. It definitely, I think, needs a little bit of, I don't know, pizzazz added to it because it's just white text on black.
Yeah.
Like everything.
But it supports
works
animated
great.
GIFs, so that's all you need is animated GIFs.
And you can rewind and pause and fast forward, and
it's amazing.
Like, how long is the longest GIF that you need to rewind it or fast forward it?
No kidding. The other interesting thing about this is the app itself comes with a collection of achievements that are named after some of the internet's most favorite memes. So, Will, have you unlocked any achievements? Icon has cheeseburger, or it's a trap. I don't know. I can't think of any other memes that might be there.
Yeah, I've unlocked two. I'll look them up. The only one that I can remember off the top of my head, though, is the Major Nelson one, which is the very first one. I think you just go to the Xbox One subreddit, and then that one comes up. But yeah, I don't know. To be completely honest, I know it's silly, but I love these app achievements. I just think it's kind of fun seeing the stupid names. Yeah, they mean absolutely nothing. I mean, you don't get any gamer score or anything like that, and I don't go out and try to complete these random achievements. But if I'm gonna be using those things anyway, I might as well kind of like get a cool little toast and see what comes out of it. I've only gotten one.
I find that bizarre.
Really?
App-based achievements, it's weird to me.
Well, again, I think I might feel a little differently if I cared about achievements.
Sure.
Like if I, hunted them down and they each one of them meant a lot to me, and because I know how much effort it goes into it. Since I don't really go achievement hunting, I'm just like, I'm too lazy to go achievement hunting, so give me an achievement by watching TV.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the next Netflix ones made a lot of sense to me. I'm like, yeah, you're sitting there on your butt, basically binging on season 2 of Orange is the New Black. You should get an achievement for it, so people know just how slovenly you are sitting there on your couch. It should be called like Dorito dust or something.
It totally should. Well, and actually that's kind of a use for it. Is like getting through a series or something. It kind of you forget how much you've gone through, and it gives you a little comment saying, hey dummy, you just watched 30 hours of TV. How do you feel?
Why don't you go ride a bike? How's that? How's that? The next episode is you getting off the couch and riding a bike.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah, interesting. So apps continue to flow to the Xbox One. That seems to be what Microsoft is trying to differentiate themselves with. I think that's a good thing to do because it's quite easy for a developer to create them because you can basically write it with the same tools that you would for any other Windows application, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's definitely a feature differentiation between the PS4 and Sony. I mean, and the One. And so I think you're right. It's good for Microsoft to do that because it does provide something that, in a lot of ways, Sony either can't or is not currently. So it gives some people a reason to choose Xbox over PS4.
Exactly. Awesome. Okay, well let's continue on. I said at the start of the show, it's a slow news week, and the next two stories are proof of that. The first one is a developer, just a homebrew developer. What is his name? It's
I could look it up.
DK19 some, I think is what it is. He or she likes Trials Fusion apparently. And what this person did, he or she, they made a game of Minecraft playable in Trials Fusion. So basically, the map is called Trials Craft. Trials Craft. And basically, once it loads, you can see that it basically builds a chunk. So if you're familiar with Minecraft, when you go to a new area, it loads a chunk. It basically builds the world based on an algorithm. So this Trials Craft, we'll see. If you're watching the video, he basically he's adjusting his controls right now. Which yeah. Invert your look if you want, sir. Do what you want to do. He's looking at all the instructions on what to do. But basically, he's going to random seed. He's creating a random seed. Okay, that's good. Yep, begin. Okay.
There we go.
And you can see what it's doing. It's basically building a seed, or it's building a chunk from the seed that it generated. So put down some land, grass, made some sand, and a tree, and you're basically floating in the middle of nowhere in Trials Fusion, and you're in Minecraft. You can go up to blocks and you can dig them out. So you'll see he'll do in the video, he digs them out. And there's different block types. And you can basically place blocks. You can change the block that you're holding, so you can make some green grass or some sand or stone and all this other stuff. And that's a bunch. That is it. That's basically all you can do. It's a very small world. It's like 20 by 20 or something. But how cool is that someone spent enough time playing with Trials Fusion and said, "Hey, I want to make Minecraft in here because I don't have enough places to play Minecraft."
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I agree. It's just novelty cool.
Yeah, because there's no goal, basically.
Right.
You're not driving anything. You're standing and placing blocks. And I won't show it, but at the end of the video, it basically he got a bronze. He finished it. It's like, you got a bronze. Like, but I didn't race. How did I get anything? I don't know what you're talking about.
That's too funny.
Yeah. Trials Fusion. So if you want to play it, if you have Trials Fusion and you want to play Minecraft, just look for the map called Trials Craft. You can download it for free, and you can play Trials Fusion Minecraft-y type thing. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's still kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. Like you said, yeah. What's the point? But who really cares?
I mean, it's a thing. I guess Pong is no longer the first thing that people make, or Pac-Man. They now make Minecraft.
Or what's the first program you always learned to
Hello World.
Hello World.
Yeah. So you're not doing Hello World anymore. You're making Minecraft, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Yeah, kind of crazy. Anyway, let's move on. This is our last story. So you remember Twitch Plays Pokemon?
Yes, I do.
How the internet would basically comment on Twitch articles, and by doing that, they would, a Twitch game, they'd go into the chat room and comment, and sorry, I'm trying to read what you're writing while talking. And my brain is so tired right now that I can't do more than one thing at a time. Sorry, Will. So yeah, your Twitch Plays Pokemon. So a bunch of people, thousands of people are in a chat room controlling Pokemon. They beat every generation of Pokemon. Like that is how like crazy these people were to sit there and do that. There was a couple new things. There was a fish playing Pokemon, I believe it was. And the latest version of that is called it's called Fish Plays Street Fighter. So if you go to Fish Play Street Fighter on Twitch, you can watch two fish playing Street Fighter. So they have a grid over a fish tank. There's an orange fish called Egg Aquarius, And so he's there. He's player 1. And player 2 is this blackfish called Robert the Bruce. And based on where they go and where they swim and how they move, things happen. You could see the one E Honda is doing way better than the other E Honda because he got lucky, I guess. So
this is so stupid.
Will, we've dropped down to the place in our society where we want to sit there and watch a video game being played by fish that don't even know they're playing a video game. He died. We caught a death live.
Is this live right now?
This is live right now. There's not very many deaths, people. We caught one live while doing this.
Now both their health bars are completely maxed out again.
Completely full, and now they're just jumping, constantly jumping. Kicking. Robert the Bruce needs to get some more attacks in. Robert, stop jumping. Stop jumping.
Robert has 13 KOs versus AG Aquarius.
Robert is just schooling AG Aquarius on how to play Street Fighter. Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought this up. When I first read this, I thought it was like two fighting fish that were dressed as Street Fighter characters, I just scrolled right past.
That would be so much better. That would be amazing. The Blanca fish versus the Ken fish. That would be amazing. But no, it is actually two fish playing Street Fighter.
That's cool. Hey, and we saw the KO. That was worth it alone. I'm glad you pulled that story, Lloyd.
I'm sorry, Internet. I really am. I really, really am. All right, well, let's leave the lack of news behind. You know what's really weird, Will? You just took a big swig of water by opening your mouth, and I could see through your mouth to the scene behind you because of your water bottle. That was that was horror movie stuff happening. That creepy? Right there. That was pretty creepy.
It was like I'm a skeleton, and you just watched it go down.
Yeah, it's like when people put like a green circle on their chest. It's like, oh no, I have a hole between me and you, and you can look through it. Yeah, that type of thing.
I got to be careful about what water bottle I bring on the show.
Exactly. Oh yeah, one more story that we'll add it then delete it because I didn't jump into it. This is kind of a crappy story. It was announced this week that, or was that announced last week that 4J Studios has submitted the PS4 version for certificate testing or certification testing with PlayStation 4. So Sony looks at the game, makes sure there's no crazy bugs. If it's okay, it gets released on the store whenever 4J Studios decides to. It turns out that on Thursday of this week, Sony found some bugs and they have to fix them. They're not bugs that are just going to be patched on a day one patch. So unfortunately, 4J is going to have to fix those bugs and then resubmit to the certification process. It was said earlier that August would be the month that Xbox would be coming to PS4. It looks like that is unfortunately in jeopardy. And I'm
Minecraft.
What did I say?
Xbox.
I said Xbox. Yes. August was the month when Xbox was going to come to the PS4, but that's been delayed.
And then the internet implodes.
I am so tired. I am so sorry, people. My head's not in the game right now. That's what happens when you spend a week at the lake and then work long hours every day the week when you're back.
Well, and there's been no word about the Xbox One version too, so people are wondering if it's kind of having some similar issues, which would not surprise me.
Yeah, from what I can gather from a lot of things that were said, the PS4 version would be submitted first, followed by the Xbox One version, followed by the Vita version. I don't know why it was in that order. Maybe because of install base or whatever. Maybe they thought that they would make the most money by doing the PS4 version first. But yeah, so who knows? I hope it comes out. Like, this is the one game that my family's the most excited for on the PS4. Like, my wife wants to play with me. My kids want to play each other. Actually, Kara and I are going to be starting a series on YouTube about us playing Minecraft and building our world and exploring and mining and stuff like that. So that will probably be coming out shortly after Minecraft comes out. So I'm really looking forward to it coming out. It just isn't.
I mean, I'm no game dev, but this game is on everything.
It is
everything. How are they having issues with it?
Yeah, different system, different SDK, I guess, software development kit. Maybe there were some issues with some of the code. Usually when things fail cert, it's for something pretty serious, like deleting files that it shouldn't or crashing the system. So hopefully it's something that is easily fixed and easily repairable and quick to update, because I'd love to have this game come out like next week. Would be awesome, but sadly I don't think that's actually going to be the case. Yep. All right, cool. Well, let's move on past news. Let's get into the rest of the show. Will, what have you been playing?
Well, I played a little bit this week. Not much at all. Maybe like an hour and a half total of gaming. Hoping to get some in this weekend. I did download Madden 15 tonight, this afternoon, and I played, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes of it. I'm not a huge Madden guy. I used to love football games, and it's kind of fun to just go in there and poke around. And so far, first impressions of the presentation's pretty phenomenal. It sounds like they've done a lot to, I don't know, really enhance the cinematic feel of it, if you can call it that. The game starts not even getting like a cutscene. Well, you do kind of get a cutscene. It's the Seahawks and the Panthers playing the NFC playoffs last year. Okay. And it literally, like, I was getting my adrenaline started pumping, and I was like, this is like a really good football movie, like on any Sunday or
Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
Any Given Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a motorcycle movie and a football movie. I get the two confused. But yeah, it really got you pumped up, and you're like, what is this? Is this like, is it going to pause right as a clutch play happens, and then, it takes you to the start screen? No, it actually puts you in like the final drive of the game, and sadly, I suck so bad I didn't score the touchdown, so I don't know what happens if you win.
You changed history, Will.
I did. So that's cool. I'm excited to play my 6 hours of it. That will be like the perfect amount for me not to buy the game, but I never would have anyway. Right. So that I played Titanfall last night for probably the first time in 2 months, and I felt like my head was going to explode because everything was coming at me so fast. And I'm like, I feel so old right now, and it's just because I took so much time off.
So people are still playing that. That's good to hear. I was worried that would be one of the games that would just fall off super, super quick.
Yeah, and I kind of was too, especially since I never hear anything about it. But lots of people play against last night. It's crazy. They've made a ton of small improvements to the game. They're just kind of those like quality of life changes. It's like, instead of having to go through 3 menus to select something, you can do it from the main menu and stuff like that. So that was fun. I mean, it hasn't like necessarily reinvigorated my interest in it. It's just a buddy of mine that plays first-person shooters with me came back. His baby is old enough now that he's playing games again.
Nice.
So that, and then I jumped back in Forza again. You can tell I'm playing all these games because I have nothing else to play, and they're great games. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but it's definitely still getting me through that drought until Destiny drops. So
cool.
So that's it. Nothing huge.
Cool. All right. Well, I've been playing a little bit as well. I played a good chunk of Diablo 3 on the PlayStation 3 with Kara, my wife, because we played it a little bit. We played like Diablo 2 so much way back in the day, so awesome. It was great to jump back in and play Diablo again. I'm looking forward to picking up eventually the Ultimate Evil Edition on PS4. Haven't done that yet just because, money. It's $65 and I've already bought Diablo like 3 times. I don't really want to buy it again. I know it's the update, it's the expansion pack, it's on the PS4. I will eventually buy it digitally, but probably when it's down around $35 maybe. I think that'll be my jumping point. But having a lot of fun playing Diablo. It's nice. It's better on the console. I know a lot of people are going to hate it that I said that, but I played so much of the PC. And I love it more on the console. It feels right. It's been a lot of fun. So
that's what I've heard from everyone. In fact, like a lot of people are calling this the definitive edition just because the frame rate's higher, the graphics are comparable to PC, and the control scheme is just kind of what it's made for, it seems like.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good, and the PS4 version just looks so much better. So I can't wait to get it. So. Yeah, so Diablo 3. I'm also playing a little bit of Sniper Elite 3. I played a little bit when I came back from my trip, and man, that game is gross. Like shooting someone and hitting them in the junk, and you see the X-ray, and it's just like, I didn't mean to shoot you there. I'm so sorry, man. I wanted to kill you, but not like that.
You wanted him to die with some dignity
intact. Just a little bit of dignity. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of funny where you can alert people to your presence, and they look around for you, and you're picking off their friends, and it's like, oh, well, I haven't found you in 60 seconds. I'm going to go back to my route that I'm going to walk, and it's really weird. I actually had my son come down while I was playing, and I didn't hear him come down the stairs. Just as I shot someone through the face and their eyeball exploded and it came out the back of their head, you see chunks of brain and skull, and he's just like, "Oh, Dad, that's gross." And I'm like, "Oh, Dad, I didn't know you were there. I'm sorry." And pause the game. It's like, "Yeah, you should probably go upstairs now. It's not a game for you." He's like, "You made his eye explode. Why would you do that?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm so sorry."
You'll be paying for that tonight when he wakes up with the nightmare.
Yeah, I will. Kara was not happy, but I can hear him come down the stairs. I'm sorry.
Right.
But yeah, playing a little bit of that. But the thing that I've been playing not the most, but the thing that I've been enjoying the most is I picked up a game called Counter Spy. It's a game that's on the PlayStation Network. It's cross-buy across PS3, PS4, and Vita. So you buy it once, you get it on all three consoles. And it is really cool. I'll bring up a screenshot of it. It is you're a spy, you're this guy, and you basically have to steal stuff from either the Russians or the Americans. So you can be either side. You have to collect documents and various things. It's super stylized. That's not Counter Spy at all. That is totally not Counter Spy. Let's go here. It's really stylized. It looks kind of like old school Alone in the Dark type graphics, but obviously with more polygons. But it's really cool. Like the intro, it reminds me of like a 1950s spy movie with like nice. It even has like the curved screen on the edges. So the edges are a little bit curved, and there's dust grain and all sorts of things. It is such a fun game. So
that's awesome.
Essentially, it's a 3D world, but you're stuck on a 2D plane. So you're walking left to right, and you have weapons, and you have stealth moves, and that's basically it. And as you play the game, you can unlock weapon parts, and if you unlock weapon parts, you can then buy a weapon with those parts. So the first thing you unlock is a silenced pistol, then you unlock a machine gun, then you unlock a tranq gun, and so on and so forth. Okay. Things get harder, so you have to clear the rooms, and as you clear the rooms, you get points. Use those points. The points are actually money. Use that money to then buy stuff at the end of the level, and you just keep getting better and better and bigger, and the levels get harder and harder as you make your way through. Your eventual goal is to steal all of the blueprints so that you can eventually nuke the moon, I think is what the goal is. It's a lot of fun. It does have this one weird issue, though. When you die, basically, when you die, the DEFCON goes up. So, or down, I guess it is, because lower means worse, right? In DEFCON, You're American, you would know that, Will, because all Americans know that.
It's true. I'm a child of the 50s. What can I say?
Yeah, exactly. So when you die, the DEFCON goes up. When people see you, sometimes they'll radio, and if you don't kill them fast enough, that goes up. Eventually, when it gets to like DEFCON 1, you basically have to sprint to the end of the level and disable the missile controls. Yeah. Otherwise, it's game over. Like there's a nuke launched, and boom, it's done. But you guys should move this to Game Talk Show Game to get more viewers. Who's that? Oh, Philippalicious. Thank you for that. Yeah, I should do that. I have it on iOS because the last show that I was broadcasting was iOS. Sorry about that. So yeah, when you if you don't do that, you die. Then you get two choices. It's continue or quit. If you hit quit, all of your progress is gone. Like all the levels that you got up to are gone. The only thing that you keep is your unlocked stuff. So if you've already unlocked the silenced weapon or the rifle, that's still unlocked, but you don't have the money to buy it, and you have to play some more levels to get the money. So I didn't know that. So when I was done for the day, and I hit quit, and I quit, and that was that. So I was a little I was a little upset, we'll say, with that. But it's cross-buy and it's kind of cross-save. So what that means is all the stuff that you do on one device carries over to the other. How it's cross-save is when you play the game and you unlock things, you can sync those unlocks to your other devices, which is kind of what you want to do. But yeah, it's besides that one thing, I love the hell out of the game, and even with that one thing, I don't dislike it. So yeah, if you have like, I think it's like $12 on PSN right now, if you have PlayStation Plus, it's good. It is really, really good. Trade Too Fast in the chat room is saying, does it get easier as you play? I don't really think it gets easier. You just get access to stuff quicker. So I guess it does get a little bit easier because you want to have the trank gun and you want to have the silenced pistol so that you don't get found. But if you start over from scratch, you have to steal all of the nuclear missile plans from the start. But you'll actually get the money. It's good. It is. Yeah. It is a fun game, man. I played it on my PS4, and then I've started playing it on my Vita as well. And I love the hell out of the game. The only thing that I've heard is when you beat the game, the ending isn't as good as the intro, and the intro is awesome. So I was hoping for this like epic ending, and apparently it's a little disappointing. But it'll be a while before I get there, so I'm going to enjoy the hell out of my time playing it. But yeah, it's so stylized looking. It looks amazing. I love everything about this game so far, and I got to play it a little bit more. But yeah, it's Counter Spy right there.
How does the combat work? Because like the art style is really something I'm digging, but I'm not much of a side scroller guy. And just watching the trailer, the combat seems like this screen right here looks like a little more 3D, or is it just kind of change the perspective, but it's still a kind of 2D?
Yeah, so what happens is you're in a 2D perspective, and when you get up to an object you can loot, you get a little triangle icon. You hit triangle, you loot that item. But if you get close to cover, you hit circle, and then you go behind that cover. Some of the cover is just like boxes, and you'll just go behind them. Some covers, some of the other covers is things like this, like pillars. And when you go behind something that is more 3D than something else, say, you'll actually, the camera will go from basically being like side view, and then it kind of shifts out and you're looking into the level, and then you have this little targeting circle on the screen, and you can kind of move it around and then pop out with L1, and then it shoots.
Nice.
Or pop out with pop out with R2 or L2, sorry, and shoot with R2. So yeah, it's 2D, but it has some 3D kind of views thrown into it.
All right. You might have convinced me.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we have to buy this weekend.
That's great. And see this little thing on the screenshot. If you guys are watching the video, there's all these little squares. That is the entirety of the level. So you know that the start is the first one and the end is the last one. But the levels aren't just you walking left to right. There's hidden things. There's sometimes elevators. If you get in an elevator, you go down to a secret level. And all of it is basically you're trying to find all the blueprints, unlock all the weapon parts, unlock all of the other perk skills. I can't remember what those are called. And yeah, that's it. It is so much fun. So when you're not shooting people in the face, you can sneak up behind them and kind of break their neck and things like that. The game greatly rewards stealth. So if you're super stealthy, you get more money bonuses, which means you can buy bigger and badder weapons sooner. It is a lot of fun. As soon as we're done the show, I'm going to play a little bit before I pass out due to full-on exhaustion. But yeah, Counter Spy, really fun game. And if you're into like kind of like it's almost like a 2D Metroidvania, except you don't really unlock skills that allow you to progress further in levels. But it's kind of roguelike, I guess, in the way that when you die, you keep your unlocks, but you reset back to zero. Yeah, like look at this level. So he was basically going left and right, but then he went into kind of the duck mode, and then it kind of swung forward, and he has all these enemies that would be in front of him that you wouldn't be able to target except if you're in that mode. Cool. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I'm really digging Counter Spy. So if you're looking for a fun game that is pretty cheap, and I know, Will, you're playing Forza and Titanfall that you haven't touched in a while, maybe Counter Spy is what the doctor ordered.
Sounds like it. I love that kind of the theme. I love that that timeline, and yeah, the art style is something that looks really intriguing. So yeah, I think you have convinced me, sir.
Very cool.
I shall be talking about it on next week's show.
Awesome. Well, I love the fact that it's you could be either against the Russians or against the Americans. Like you're not one spy for one. You're kind of playing both against each other. Each has their own DEFCON level. So if you've done really bad against the Russians, you want to play a little bit more against the Americans so that you can go a little bit further, unlock more things before you eventually die and have to start over again. Yeah, a lot of fun. I'm really, really, really digging Counter Spy.
Nice.
Yep. All right, man. Well, I think that's going to about do it unless you have anything else to add.
I think I'm good. Got some gaming to do before, like you. I crash and fall asleep too. So
yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm so tired though. I might not make more than the I'll get to the intro, and be like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of go to bed now. So
like, the idea sounded cool, but I'm tired.
Yeah, it sucks. All right, everybody. We love hearing from you. Let us know what you think of the show. Head on over to vgpodcast.com. Check out all the other shows we do on the network. And let us know what you think. Email us at vgpodcasts@gmail.com. Or you can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505-VG-Podcasts. But yeah, it's great. It's a good game. Go check it out. Anyway, let us know what you think of the show as well. 505 VG Podcast. All right, everybody. Take it easy. We'll talk to you in about a week's time. And Will, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you. As always, it's a blast.
It is. Do you like being the co-host, not the guy hitting all the buttons and clicking things?
I mean, it's nice to mix it up every once in a while, but it is kind of nice to just sit back and let you do all the heavy lifting. And all I got to do is just tell you how much you suck and that I don't like what you're saying and that my opinion's better. And that part's easy.
You're good at that, Will. You're really, really good at that. A couple weeks from now, maybe you'll have to host and I'll just kind of sit back and be the guy that just chirps in when it's needed. Maybe I'll be that guy. That could be fun.
Only if you like throw zingers at me that I like completely catch me off guard.
Sure. I'm good at that. All right, everybody, take it easy. We'll talk to you in about a week's time.